Good morning, Web Spiders. Today's Wednesday, April 4th, 2018. Are you ready for a webtastic day? Because I am. I'm going to start out with some bucket fillers today. Colton Yancey from Mrs. Schatz. Oh, in Mrs. Schatz's class. This is from Mrs. Vaught to Colton Yancey. Colton was a good friend to Asher. He loaned Asher his reading book so Asher could complete his work. Whoop, whoop. Way to go, Colton. This goes out to Asher Scott from Mrs. Vaught. Asher has been working very hard with me, and he is getting his work done. So, bucket filler shout out to Colton Yancey and Asher Scott. Way to go and way to represent the web. So, did you practice some compassion yesterday? Did you? Were you just a little bit nicer than you've been to someone that maybe you haven't been so nice to? Are you using manners? I'm going to read you something about compassion in just a second, but I want to check our birthday list. And we do. Ryan Ramsey from Mrs. Kinsey's room has a birthday today. So birthday boy, make sure you come see me in the office sometime today. Get a birthday backpack charm. And I am going to show you a picture. This is John Howard Griffin. You may not recognize him. In fact, Mrs. Clendenning shared this on compassion with me, and I wasn't sure who this was either. So in 1959, Mr. Griffin decided to get a taste of what reality was like for African-American man living in the segregated Deep South. Now, when you study U.S. history, you'll understand a little bit more about the segregated South. In those days, white people did not give people with darker skin equal treatment. Mr. Griffin wanted to find out what it was really like to be a black person. So he dyed his skin black with a combination of sun lamps and pigment darkening medication, and then he spent 6 weeks traveling and working in Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, and South Carolina. No one ever expected that he was actually a white man. He got the chance to experience real empathy for people who were suffering. It was an eye-opening experience working as a shoe shine boy in New Orleans. He was struck by how white people stared through him without acknowledging his presence. He experienced the everyday indignities of segregation, such as walking miles to find a place to use the restroom. And he was subject not just to racist verbal abuse, but to the threat of physical violence just because of the color of his skin. He wrote about his experience in his best-selling book, Black Like Me, and Mr. Griffin used his experience to give widespread attention to racial equality and worked with Martin Luther King Jr. to make real changes. He felt compassion for the suffering of black people in the South and showed compassion by taking action to help all of us treat each other equally. And I hope you find that at Web. I hope that you find compassion and equality. We are all people, and we're all different. And thank goodness we're different. That makes our world so unique and so wonderful. But we should all be treated equally. And compassion and understanding when people are not. You've got to pull for the people in our building. Web is like a great big family. Don't let anybody pick on another web spider. Don't let anybody be mean to a web spider. We have to stick together and show compassion for each other. Okay? Can you do it? I think you can. At this time, stand and push your chairs in. Let's have a moment of silence. Now for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whew, that wind was fierce this morning, wasn't it? So now we're inside where it's nice and warm, the wind's not blowing, and we are ready to have a Webtastic Wednesday. Let's do our creed. I am a member of the Web family. I take pride in myself and my school. I promise to do these things every day. I will only say positive things about myself and others. I will respect and trust others. I will insist on giving my personal best. I will discuss and listen actively. I will expect and give truth and honesty. I am glad to do my part to make Web School a place where everybody is somebody special. Please show compassion to each other, okay? Maybe someone falls down on the playground. Help them up. Maybe someone just looks sad this morning. Say something nice to them. Perhaps you hear someone treating someone else in the wrong way. Can you use your debugging skills to help that person and show compassion? I think you can. Make it a great day in the web, spiders, and make sure you're doing it right.